Okay guys, thanks for coming in today. So today I'm not going to be talking about any groundbreaking things to help us with physiotherapy or anything like that. I'd just like to draw on things that I actually feel that what makes this team really special and unique, coming into this team. So today I'm going to chat about the role of the multilingual physiotherapist in improving patient care. Okay, so this definitely hits home to me, especially being around you guys, obviously coming from Vietnamese, Asian backgrounds. I think we can relate to patients a little bit more differently compared to like a more multi-diverse group of health practitioners. So about 50% of Australians are actually born overseas, and 1 in 5 actually speak English as their second language at home. We call this the culturally linguistic diverse population, and unfortunately a lot of these guys actually have trouble accessing healthcare. There are actually a lot of barriers to it, and there's a whole body of studies that suggest that these barriers are actually stopping them from getting the healthcare or physiotherapy services that they need, for a multitude of reasons. So I'll ask you guys, just to the crowd, what kind of reasons do you think would be stopping them from accessing private practice physiotherapy before I go into the stats?
Money.
Finances? Yep, definitely. That's a big one for sure. Yep, that's a great one.
Clinician that they can fully communicate with, that explain their full issue to it, know that understands their situation.
So like health literacy and probably how do you say it? Bridging that gap between like simplifying it for the everyday person, let alone someone who comes from a C.A.L.D background. That's really good. Any other things that we think influencing C.A.L.D backgrounds? And think of your grandparents, aunties, uncles. What's stopping actually them from coming into a place like this? Monica, you sound like you look like you have something in your mind.
I guess in line with that, being able to explain to the therapist what they're feeling and whether they we're sure that the therapist actually understands what they're saying.
That is a big one, like pain perception and being able to express their mental needs as well, because that's, I'll go into that a bit later, but that's a big one. Yeah, so definitely a lot of the things that we touched on. So the first obvious one being language barriers, right? Being able to just translate and express how they feel regarding their pain. Obvious one. The second one is the cultural differences. So we have the traditions, beliefs, the cultural practices that make everybody so unique. Because not everybody has those experiences of an Australian naturally would. That's where we bring our own personal flavors to healthcare. Finances, as Tuan managed to say, so if people are more prioritising putting food on the table, they're not actually going to be spending money on their injured knee or shoulder. They've got bigger things to worry about. And as we know, with physiotherapy, it's really expensive, like $150 for a senior rate or $130 for a graduate rate is pretty expensive for some people. And I know that we do have EPCs to make it more affordable, but they only get 5 sessions and then they're just left alone. So obviously we've got to value what we do, because we went through the whole studying and we went through all this professional development, but it's like that balance, it's that balance. Health literacy, as Mon raised. So a lot of these C.A.L.D backgrounds don't understand the stresses of work, the effects of diet, the effects of exercise, and how that plays a role into their health. And I just think about my aunties and uncles, they don't know anything. They probably get a lot of the information on Facebook, or they get the information on YouTube, and like they start saying that, did you read this article? And it's just, a lot of it's really not real. Emotional and psychological barriers and pain perception, so as Mon also touched on. So a lot of people from C.A.L.D backgrounds have trouble expressing their emotional needs, and yellow flaggy things like psychological problems are really difficult to express, and a lot of them just keep it inside. Pain perception, as one also suggested as well, they probably perceive pain differently compared to the everyday person. They probably just put it behind them and just think that it's a normal part of life. So that's a big barrier. Another one that we didn't really mention is social and family dynamics. So a lot of people from C.A.L.D backgrounds rely actually on an immediate family member to take care of their own health. So, and this creates a problem because if there isn't a really good relationship between the immediate family member and the patient, really they're not going to get the health care that they need and they're going to be neglected. So that's huge, and we can all think of someone in our lives that probably rely on us a bit too much. And as a younger generation, there's probably that responsibility for us to take care of them in some capacity. Cool. So why do we care about this? Okay. So obviously we know that Braybrook, from your own experiences, we've got a lot of Vietnamese people. We've also got a lot of maybe LOSES people coming in. But I just wanted to get some hard stats just to confirm that. So Australian Bureau of Statistics, Braybrook, 2021 census. Now what we have here in this top picture is cultural diversity. So what kind of ethnics are in this area? So at the top we've got Vietnamese, Chinese, English, Australian, and then Indian. We've got the Braybrook area, and then we compare that to Victoria and Australia. Okay, so at the moment, 27.3% of people are actually Vietnamese in Braybrook. If we compare that to Victoria, it's so much higher, sitting at 1.9%. And then let alone Australia is 1.3%. So we actually have a really big responsibility and influence over the Vietnamese population. Next, also Chinese as well. So then we go into the median weekly income. So we've got personal, family, and household. We'll just look at personal for now. And we compare that to Victoria and Australia. So everybody's probably earning about $622 a week. This is below Victoria at $803 and below Australia $805. So definitely a lot less money going around within this area. Okay, I'm pretty sure you didn't need stats to know that, but it's just some hard evidence. Cool. Alright, so what I really think this team does so well is that we actually overcome a lot of the barriers that C.A.L.D background populations actually go through. For example, like Tony's experience, Dwan's, Amanda's, Monica's, Steph's, Bin's, and Kang's. You guys have a unique set of skills where you can actually help these guys. And I've seen it. I've really seen it in action. You overcome the language barriers really well. You have effective communication, a lot of cultural sensitivity and awareness as well, a lot of inclusive treatment plans, so really understanding their lifestyles, social context, the way they live. Are they actually going to do the exercise? So that's really important. And a lot of empathy and compassion for the unique struggles that C.A.L.D background patients go through as well. So that's really, really special, to be honest. And I'm pretty sure as I'm saying and talking about these things, you guys are reflecting on the people that you treated. What I really wanted to brush on and have a focal point was representation and relatability. Okay, so there's this thing called, that's called, I wanted to brush on representation and relatability. So there's this thing called racial concordance. So it's this idea that patients who are matched to health practitioners of their ethnic group, they'll actually have better patient outcomes. Okay, they'll actually have better patient satisfaction overall because you look like them and you understand them. There's an experience and there's that cultural background where there's so much trust involved. And so that is so special, and there's actually a whole bunch of research that really supports that. And that I'd like to see grow because it's this unconscious thing that we don't talk a lot about. Great, so just on that, I'd like to express how we can target these Vietnamese communities and potential options. Of course, I'm not the director or anything like that of Tony, Moran, or Ian, but just some ideas, just to help better serve these Vietnamese communities, because I really do feel like we have a big responsibility. So community events, cultural festivals and markets, so things like Lunar New Year and Dirt, Footscray Market, Sunshine Market, they're all great ways to just target Vietnamese populations and just to showcase our physiotherapy services to them, that we exist, and that there are Vietnamese physios out there, if you understand them. Second is local businesses, temples and community centres. So we've got One Min Temple over in Braybrook, great way to showcase our physiotherapy services. We've also got the Australian Vietnamese Business Association as well. And this third one here, the Australian Vietnamese Women's Association. Have any of you guys heard about that? Yeah, Tony? Yep. And what do they do, Tony?
My understanding is they support older Vietnamese females as they go into retirement, and they support with funding in terms of social activities and things like that.
Yeah, great. So exactly like that. So they help service older Australian women, particularly through my age care packages, and they help give them support for the home, take them on trips to get them socialising, and they also fund a lot of physiotherapy services as well, allied health, podiatry, all that. And my grandma actually is a part of the Australian Vietnamese Women's Association as well. They're so good. They're great. So they do home visits. They do also fund kind of physios as well. Really cool. I believe Ben actually knows about them as well, which I asked him about yesterday. So yeah. Then we've got some online Vietnamese resources that we could also reach out to Vietnamese populations. So we could educate people, make videos on like exercises, health and wellness, basic things about taking care of their body, and translate that into Vietnamese videos. But we've also got Viet TV Australia. So this is a pretty popular media agency where basically we can run advertisements or campaigns and Vietnamese people actually watch it, especially the elderly. So we do know that they do love watching the news and they believe everything and anything on the news. So I've seen ads run on that, and that's a great way to showcase that we exist as well. And of course we have Facebook, all the aunties and uncles live on Facebook, so we could potentially address that over there too. Probably our main one that we're probably finding our clients are coming through is through healthcare providers. So things like the GP, knowing that that we offer Vietnamese physios over here. So definitely having a chat to them is great, and other allied health professionals. So that's the last point of that. There's one point on here that is not on the slides, but also reaching out to youth. So like people our age, maybe slightly older, slightly younger, and reaching out to them to help bridge the gap so they can take care of their elderly parents or aunties and uncles as well. Because we know that we are probably the gatekeepers of their health. So if you can reach out to like your friends, that's probably the best start. And you can look at some programs to help target those kind of people. Yeah, so that's the gist of my presentation. So again, nothing groundbreaking. I just wanted to highlight that this team is really special because of the backgrounds that you guys come from, and how you can better serve the Vietnamese community or maybe culturally linguistically diverse people as well. Now, in terms of racial concordance, again, just highlighting that it is a growing area, and knowing that people who look like you or share the same experiences as you plays a huge role into their health, and it builds a lot of trust. So that's the end of my presentation. Great, perfect. No worries, thanks guys. Do you guys have any questions?
In terms of research around the C.A.L.D, is there research around Vietnamese population or Vietnamese support quantitative data around that?
That's so good, such a great question. I was researching that, there's not. It's way too little. There was like a study in 2012 that looked at Vietnamese, not patients, but Vietnamese physios, and how many of us are there, there's very little, and it wasn't that substantial, so I wouldn't really believe it. And I try to look on also is it APA, the Physiotherapy Board? Yeah, APA. Yeah, APA, so they don't have any data on that as well, about racial or ethnic physios. Great question there. I'd love the data on that. But if you had to guess, it's probably a good one. Yeah. Any other questions from this side? It's okay, you know. Steph, you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. All good, no worries. Thanks so much for the presentation and being part of the team as well. I think like just watching you guys talk to Vietnamese patients like really wants me to not better my Vietnamese. But I don't know, it just hits home a lot, to be honest. Like you know, I'll see like one, like we had a Vietnamese patient the other day and like we're like laughing and like you're like just doing your best to like relate to her, and it's just easy. It's just easy, you know. So yeah, just keep doing your thing, and you guys are really special. Like you're so unique.
Wow, thanks,
Thank
Steve.
you.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
Thanks,
No worries.
Nice work, man.